Okay, so today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be a bit of a tutorial. I wanted to show those of you who'd want to try it how to set up a custom Ark Survival Evolved server, either for themselves or their group of friends. Personally, I play this game mostly as a very customized single-player experience, and while that might sound really strange to some, let me explain how I make it really fun in the process. First, I think it's important to understand that Ark has always been a fundamentally broken game in so many ways. The balance of the official game has always been an insane mess. Private servers are really where the fun has always been. You get faster ping times, you can balance things to your liking. In my opinion, this is the only way most players are really going to be able to see what this game really offers. Public servers are very much a toxic cesspool, full of people who have long become bored with their success and mostly just aim to get in your way. What you're seeing on screen right now is actually called Ark Server Manager. The link is going to be in the description below. This is an incredibly stable, self-updating, unofficial program, and it makes all of the server options really easy to see and change. If this is the first time you're seeing the insane number of options that are available when you create a server, don't be overwhelmed. Most of these are just options and choices rather than something you'd actually have to master, and you can tweak things to your liking as time goes on. If you want to start with the default settings and change it just one thing at a time, it's very easy to do just that. When you download the Ark Server Manager, you're able to set up a very clean method of launching, configuring, and maintaining a server. And you can do this for yourself, or you can open it up to the public for a few friends if you like as well. Now, I'm not going to be able to explain port forwarding for every router setup, but as long as you forward the ports that are listed here, when your server starts, it should be visible to the public. And the Server Manager will actually show you the status of your server. If you plan to just play by yourself, you don't even need to forward anything at all. You'll need a large amount of space on your machine. Ark is a big game, and the server folder ends up being pretty big as well. But after it's set up, you should be able to change maps at will and experiment to your liking. RAM and CPU are pretty important considerations, but mostly if you plan to have more than yourself playing. When you fire it up, the launch time of your server can range a little bit, and you'll notice the first time you start it, you may need to immediately reboot it after everything's set up, but after that, things should run pretty smooth. If you have enough space and processing power that you'd like to actually launch multiple server profiles at once, you can even set up your own cluster, and that allows you to transfer between 2 or more maps, each with different rules and mods if you want. As an example, if you wanted to play on the island map but have access to transfer back and forth to Scorched Earth for whatever reason, it's pretty easy to do that with this program. It's just going to take up a lot of space and memory. But touching back on just running a single server, it's most common to mess with multipliers for XP, taming speed, gathering rates. There's a number of other things that by default could make your experience not really fun. And if you're planning to be the only person in your tribe, you'll probably want to check the Unlock All Engrams button along the way. You may even find yourself, as I've done many times in the past, completely tank XP gains, and specifically slow down the advancement in-game. Even at 1x speed, I found that there's too many ways in Ark to essentially power level yourself, and you're going to be very quickly passing over multiple technologies, species of dinosaurs, and otherwise really fun game concepts. When you're only halfway through upgrading your thatch hut to wood, and suddenly you can start building with stone or metal, kind of feels like you missed out. One of the other issues I've been able to circumvent personally with mods is that Wildcard has made some really strange decisions with their official maps, and none of them are really ideal if you want to make use of the DLC technologies without a server cluster. Mods like this converter are relatively balanced and allow you to exchange certain resources so you aren't left in the lurch and unable to build something just due to map limitations. Scorched Earth, for example, has tools like the boomerang that can be really fun and useful, but if you want to play on a non-desert type map, it's almost impossible to build before you'd outlevel it anyway. You just don't have easy access to something like sand. If you want to get even more complex, you can add in entirely new concepts like currency, points, NPCs, etc. Some mods, though, as a warning, might require a little bit more of an intense setup. Adding mods in Ark Server Manager is easy to do. You can either look them up in Steam and paste the ID here, or there's a search function within the Server Manager as well. There's an incredible number of options available for mods, and some will drastically change gameplay to a point where it might even become too easy. Be mindful of being fair to yourself and your players if you redesign your balance. After all, this is a survival game, and it'll feel very pointless without any danger. Your players, including yourself, will automatically download all of the mods as they join if they're not subscribed already, so this process is actually really smooth. Ark as a game has a ton of valid criticism. Wildcard Studios made some very questionable decisions for sure. That said, Ark itself is an incredibly complex and unique program, and the additional tools that we have access to, some of the features that you'll see, it's really unlike anything else. Over the years, it's something I've counted on to create some of the most memorable and terrifying moments in my own gaming history. I've suffered devastating losses, but I've also managed to overcome some impossible odds. If this is already in your library, and something you never really managed to get into, I encourage you to give this method a shot. It's very self-directed, it'll revolve around you setting your own goals, but you can essentially craft yourself the perfect survival experience. And if nothing else, being able to explore the Ark with admin commands will give you an entirely new perspective on the incredible depth that most people here simply haven't seen. Anyway, I'm going to keep this one pretty short. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments or in the Discord, and I'll try to help. Thanks for watching.